In this video, we're going to be factoring this problem here. Now, factoring can be kind of tricky. There's so many different techniques you can use. Some people do it in their head, some people write it out. But I'm going to show you a way to write it out where you can double check it to make sure that you're finding the answers you need to find and that your answers you found will work. Okay? So, what do we do? What's the first thing we're going to be doing? Well, first thing we need to do is look at our third term here. Okay, this is our number term, minus 15. What we need to factor this problem properly, to find our solution, we're going to need to find two terms that when multiplied together equal negative 15. Okay, so I'm just going to write that out down here. So we need two terms that when multiplied together are going to equal negative 15. Now, these same two terms, when they're added together, need to equal this number here, okay? The number in front of our middle term, so this positive 2, okay? So we need two numbers that multiply together to give us minus 15, and those same two numbers need to add together to give us positive 2, okay? So what we do is we take our minus 15, and we're going to do what I call a factor tree, okay? We're going to try to break 15 down into its factors. Now, all numbers can be multiplied by 1, okay? So we could say 1 times negative 15. Those are two factors, okay? That's not going to help us, right? Because 1 plus negative 15 is not positive 2, okay? So we're going to need to break these factors down a bit further. Okay, 15. What are the factors of just 15? Well, that would be 3 times 5, okay? So 3 times 5, those are good factors. Now, 3 times 5, though, is not negative 15. It's just positive 15, right? So one of these numbers is going to need to be negative, all right? Because 3 times 5 is just 15. We want it to be negative 15. So we could make the 3 negative. Let's try that. Or we could make the 5 negative. But let's start by making the 3 negative. So we have two factors of negative 15. We have negative 3 and negative 5. When we say factors, that means the numbers can be multiplied together to give us our original number, okay? Negative 3 times 5 give us negative 15. So we can put these in here. Negative 3 times 5 definitely gives us negative 15, so that works. What about down here? If we add negative 3 to 5, do we get positive 2? Negative 3 plus 5 actually does equal positive 2, okay? That means that these factors, negative 3 and 5, work, okay? They solve this problem. Now, what if we had said negative 15? It could also be 3 times negative 5, right? Let's see if that works in this criteria too. We already know negative 3 and 5 work, but let's just double check. Maybe we have another option. Okay, let's check this and see if it works. So if we have 3 times negative 5, that gives us negative 15. If we have 3 plus negative 5, that gives us negative 2. But we don't want negative 2. Remember, we need a positive 2. So, by fluke, to be honest, we stumbled across the right factors, negative 3 and 5, the first time. Okay, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have to try a few different possibilities till you get it. Okay, but what does this mean? We know that the solutions are negative 3 and 5. Okay? When we're factoring, the way we want to write our answer, okay, we have no number in front of the x squared. We just have a 1 there. So what we're going to do is we're just simply going to write an x for our first term in both of our sets of brackets. And then this is where these factors we just found come into play. okay? It doesn't matter which one, in this case, that we pick to go first. Why don't we take our -3 and put our -3 here, and we take our second factor, which is a +5, and place it here. Now, this might seem like a little magic, okay? This is the format we want our answer to be in. These two sets of brackets, okay? We have our x squared is going to change into simply a single x to the power of the implied one that we can't see. So it's just x as the first term in both of our brackets. And then we take these factors that we found, and we're going to place one in each set of brackets, okay? Now, that might look magical, right? But we can double check just to make sure that our answer is correct, okay? So this is the answer. This is when we have a problem like this, x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals, we want it in this format. So bracket x minus 3, close bracket, open bracket, x plus 5, close bracket. But we can use the FOIL method to check to make sure that our answer is correct, okay? So if we use FOIL to check, we're going to have the f, which is first, so we multiply x times x. We multiply the two first terms together. X times x is going to give us x squared, okay? What we're checking is we want to make sure when we multiply out, when we use the FOIL method, we end up with what we started with, okay? That's how we know we factored correctly, okay? So our first term now is x squared. That was our x times x, our f. Now we have our O, which is outer, which means we multiply the x by the outer term of the other bracket. So x times 5 will be 5x. We've got our I, which is inner, which means we're going to multiply our -3 times x. That's going to give us -3x. And finally, we have our L, which is lasts. We're going to multiply our last terms in each bracket, -3 times +5. That's going to give us -15. Now, our answer here doesn't look exactly like the question we started with, but that's because we need to simplify. Let's just quickly simplify. Our x squared has no other like terms, so we leave that alone. However, our middle terms here, 5x and -3x, both are like terms, right? They have the same variable x with the same exponent, okay? So we can simply add 5x minus 3x, and that's going to give us plus 2x. And then our final term, there's nothing to group it with, so it just stays as minus 15. And when we look, we have x squared plus 2x minus 15, and that's what we started with. So when we used our FOIL to check our factoring, to make sure we did our factoring correctly, we did end up with our original question, so we know we factored correctly, and our answer really is open bracket x minus 3, close bracket, open bracket x plus 5, close bracket. If you would like to learn how to quickly study for your GED exam online and get a new resume, then visit testprepskills.com.